Music expresses that which cannot be put into words, and that which cannot remain silent. He never went out without a book under his arm, and he often came back with two. Even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise. What is love? I have met in the streets a very poor, young man who was in love. His hat was old, his coat worn. The water passed through his shoes, and the stars through his soul. Music expresses that which cannot be said, and on which it is impossible to be silent. To love another person is to see the face of God. To put everything in balance is good, to put everything in harmony is better. The power of a glance has been so much abused in love stories that it has come to be disbelieved in. Few people dare now to say that two beings have fallen in love because they have looked at each other, yet it is in this way that love begins, and in this way only. Love is like a tree, it grows by itself, roots itself deeply in our being and continues to flourish over a heart in ruin. The inexplicable fact is that, the blinder it is, the more tenacious it is. It is never stronger than when it is completely unreasonable. It is nothing to die. It is frightful not to live. Not being heard is no reason for silence. Laughter is sunshine, it chases winter from the human face. The greatest happiness of life is the conviction that we are loved, loved for ourselves, or rather, loved in spite of ourselves. Have courage for the great sorrows of life, and patience for the small ones. And when you have laboriously accomplished your daily task, go to sleep in peace. God is awake. To love, or have loved, that is enough. Ask nothing further. There is no other pearl to be found in the dark folds of life. Those who do not weep, do not see. If I speak, I am condemned. If I stay silent, I am damned. Reason is intelligence taking exercise. Imagination is intelligence with an erection. He who opens a school door, closes a prison. Certain thoughts are prayers. There are moments when, whatever be the attitude of the body, the soul is on its knees. You who suffer because you love, love still more. To die of love, is to live by it. Teach the ignorant as much as you can. Society is culpable in not providing a free education, for all, and it must answer for the night which it produces. If the soul is left in darkness, sins will be committed. The guilty one is not he who commits the sin, but he who causes the darkness. You ask me what forces me to speak? A strange thing, my conscience. A garden to walk in, and immensity to dream in. What more could he ask? A few flowers at his feet, and above him the stars. People do not lack strength, they lack will. A man is not idle because he is absorbed in thought. There is visible labor and there is invisible labor. There is nothing like a dream to create the future. Nothing makes a man so adventurous as an empty pocket. Life's great happiness is to be convinced we are loved. He was fond of books, for they are cool and sure friends. No army can withstand the strength of an idea whose time has come. Melancholy is the happiness of being sad. The future has several names for the weak. It is impossible for the faint-hearted, it is unknown, but for the valiant it is ideal. The pupil dilates in darkness, and in the end finds light, just as the soul dilates in misfortune, and in the end finds God. When love has fused, and mingled two beings in a sacred and angelic unity, the secret of life has been discovered, so far as they are concerned. They are no longer anything more than the two boundaries of the same destiny. They are no longer anything but the two wings of the same spirit, love and soar. Before him he saw two roads, both equally straight, but he did see too, and that terrified him, he who had never in his life known anything but one straight line and bitter anguish. These two roads were contradictory. I have been loving you a little more every minute since this morning. What makes night within us may leave stars. There is something more terrible than a hell of suffering, a hell of boredom. Nobody knows, like a woman, how to say things that are both sweet and profound. Sweetness and depth, this is all of woman, this is heaven. Let us study things that are no more. It is necessary to understand them, if only to avoid them. To die for lack of love is horrible. The asphyxia of the soul. It is not easy to keep silent, when silence is a lie. And remember, the truth that once was spoken, to love another person is to see the face of God. Winter is on my head, but eternal spring is in my heart. There is one spectacle grander than the sea, that is the sky. There is one spectacle grander than the sky, that is the interior of the soul. The soul helps the body, and at certain moments raises it. It is the only bird that sustains its cage. Not seeing people permits us to imagine them with every perfection. If people did not love one another, I really don't see what use there would be in having any spring. If you wish to understand what revolution is, call it progress, and if you wish to understand what progress is, call it tomorrow. An intelligent hell would be better than a stupid paradise. There is always more misery among the lower classes than there is humanity in the higher. Love is the foolishness of men, and the wisdom of God.